and welcome to our Monday Minute. Today we're going to do a very high-level review of the home health final rule. As most of you have already realized, the final rule was released on November 1st at 4:15 in the afternoon, as they typically do. The majority of this content will be implemented on January 1st. There are some differences in implementation dates, especially when you look at the hospice components of this final rule, but we will not be addressing the hospice ones today, only the home health situation. The permanent behavioral adjustment was proposed to be a 5.65% decrease. They recalculated the behavioral adjustment and then decided they were only going to take half of the remaining portion this year, which is 2.890%. They are only taking that portion, which, when it is netted with the increase in the market basket that we received of 3%, we technically have a slight increase, which I will show you in a moment. What you do not want to do as far as this change in only taking half of the cut, etc., is to accept this as okay, because it's not okay. We are happy that they did cut the adjustment in half at this point, but we are not happy that the adjustment still exists. There is still legislation we are trying to get pushed through. There's still a lawsuit against CMS, and we continue the war. We have by no means won the war, and you may be called on to help fight that war, and I hope you do participate. So this top part of this screen is the amount, the $1974.38, which was technically originally proposed in July to be the base rate for the 30-day payment periods. The bottom portion is what it is now, as it has been finalized, with only the 2.89% cut and the 3% increase in the market basket, leaving us at $2,038.13 as the base rate, which is definitely better than what it was proposed. The LUPA rates are not impacted by the budget neutrality factor, so you see on the screen the amounts that the LUPA rates will have as their base rate. Of course, those will have to be wage adjusted according to where the patient receives care, but they are increases of the full 3% of the market basket. They are not subject to the behavioral adjustment. The 432 case mix weights of the PDGM HIPS codes have all been recalibrated based on the 2022 data. That can be very impactful on your payments. So you want to make sure to take into consideration these case mix weight changes as well as the base rate change. The outlier portion has had a change from 0.35 or 35% as the fixed dollar loss ratio. In 2024, that will be 0.27 or 27% of the cost that an agency has to absorb before an outlier kicks in. The labor share, which did not get a lot of activity as far as information from the proposed rule or even comments against or for it, it is currently today at 76%. It is being changed in 2024 to 74.9%. These calculations are just a calculation of the payment using a wage index that's over 1.0 and one that's less than 1.0. If your wage index is less than 1.0, you definitely wanted them to change this calculation, because that means you have to wage adjust with less than 100% a lesser portion of the base rate. The functional status changes include reductions in these 5 elements you see that are in red. This one makes 6 with ambulation, and then with risk for hospitalization, there was an increase of 1 point. CMS has continued to make changes to these functional scoring items in order to try to keep low, medium, and high functional status to 33% in each of those categories. It has continued to be that high functional status reigns supreme. This is the disposable negative pressure ulcer wound therapy. Until January 1st of 2024, this therapy and the device must be billed on a 3-4 bill type. Starting January 1st of 2024, it will be billed on the home health claim, the nursing visits as a routine visit, and the device using the HCPCS code A9272, and the reimbursement for that specific item will be $270.09. They will be removing the 2 items you see on the screen completely from the OASIS starting January 1st of 2025. They will begin publicly reporting the 4 measures that you see on the screen, with the COVID-19 vaccine item being reported at discharge, transfer, and death at home. And that will mean that the OASIS will have to be adjusted so that those questions can be answered. There is still question about what current vaccine status really means. With the home health value-based purchasing model, they are changing multiple items effective January of 2025. This is the recap of the items that will be removed and what will be replacing them, and the weight changes that you see in the proposed new weight changes column. This is the recap of those changes. The current measure weights in these first 2 columns, depending on whether you're in the large or the small cohort. The proposed changes, or now final changes, for 2025. 2024's value-based purchasing model will be exactly the same as it is today. This has been a very down and dirty recap of the 2024 final rule. We will have a detailed 90-minute webinar on November 20th. Please make sure you get registered for that to get more detailed information about this rule. And if Healthcare Provider Solutions can ever assist in any way, please don't hesitate to let us know. I hope you have a fabulous week.